Welcome to the Cherry Hill West Weekly Report. I'm Allison Sarno. And I'm Dorit Eichhorn. The senior class is privileged to give their Purple Heart Award to Mr. George Ray for being the only swimming coach to have 350 victories in South Jersey. We know he will add many more victories to his outstanding record. Congratulations, Mr. Ray. Students taking the SAT after-school course can buy the SAT textbook for $7. The textbook is available in the school store. SAT and Achievement tests will be held on January 22nd at Cherry Hill West at 8 a.m. A yearbook representative will be in the cafeteria during all lunches until January 13th. The cost of the yearbook is $23. After January 13th, the yearbook cost will be $26. A representative will also try to come to your homeroom, or you may come to F27 before or after school. Applications for acts in this year's talent show on January 28th are now being accepted. Get your act together and register on Homeland D3. Because of our upcoming musical, Bye Bye Birdie, anyone who can sew has access to a machine and would enjoy sewing costumes for the play to see Mr. Zalora in Homeland D3 or after school in the auditorium. Any girls who have period 4 free and would like to join a vocal group are asked to see Mrs. Osborne in the music department. No auditions are necessary, just a strong desire to sing. In addition, Mrs. Osborne would like to start an all-male vocal group. If you are interested in singing, see Mrs. Osborne. Attention all PAVIS members. The time for the meeting on Wednesday, January 15th has been changed. The time is now 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. Reporter Dorit Eichhorn asked students what they thought of the proposed moment of silence in school. How do you feel about the 1 minute of silence in Cherry Hill Public Schools?
I really don't think it's a big deal. A minute of silence is just what that is. Like, you can't make you pray, your mind is your own. You can just sit there and be quiet and think about whatever you want. You don't have to necessarily pray.
Thank you. How do you feel?
I think it's a good idea because, like Phil said, you don't have to pray or anything. You just have to be quiet and think about whatever you want to think about. So I think it's good. How about you?
I don't think it'll make that big a difference because my homeroom has to stay quiet anyway, so it won't be that big of a change.
I think it's all right, but I don't think a homeroom can stay quiet for 1 minute.
Well, I think it's an unjust collaboration between church and state. In our Constitution, there's supposed to be a separation between church and state, and right now the Reagan administration is bringing that in, especially by the local government and the state government. They shouldn't really enforce it. It's an undercover attempt to bring religion into our schools, and I think it's unjust that they're doing that. The public should have a say in that matter.
I think it's the moral majority. Reagan is supporting them all the way, and I think it's an attempt at trying to bring religion back into the schools, and that's violating the separation between church and state, and I don't agree with it at all.
I feel that the 1 minute of silence is pretty good. I mean, if the people want to do it, sure, let them. It's pretty good.
I think the moment of silence is important. I don't feel there are any religious connotations in it, and it allows people to do what they wish for that 1 minute, whether it be prayer or whether it be something else.
Thank you. Okay, I agree with that a lot because 1 minute does not say you have to pray during that. You can do anything you want, and if a person wants to pray, they can pray. And if you want to do homework, you can do homework, but it's just 1 minute to do something, anything you want to do.
I don't think it has any religious connotations, and that would be something, a minute for everybody to get their head together, a minute.
I feel it's right. I think that each kid should have their own time to pray or whatever they want to do with that time.
I'm very much against it because I think it's very important to have separation of church and state, and the school is not the proper place for praying, and that's how I feel about it.
I think that it's really dumb because if people want to pray, they have plenty of time to go to his home. I think it's a waste of school time that the taxpayers pay for. All right.
The boys basketball team defeated Edgewood Friday night 59-54. Stephen Zayn led the Lions with 18 points. West's record is now 9 wins and no losses. The Wrestling Lions are inviting you to attend the second home wrestling match tonight against Glassboro High in the Jones Gym at 7:30 p.m. A Model United Nations session will be held at Cherry Hill East on May 17th. The students at Cherry Hill West have been invited to send delegates to this simulated United Nations session. Please contact Dr. Kenvin in the Social Studies office on the middle floor of F-Wing before January 14th if you're interested in becoming a delegate from West. Thank you for watching the West Weekly Report. Please join us again next week at this time. Please remember that Cherry Hill schools are closed Friday, January 14th, in honor of Martin Luther King's birthday. Good night.
Good night.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners, will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Good evening. This is Beth Stunoff and John McGee, here to bring you this January 12th East Update. Congratulations to the East debaters, Ann Lynn, Joel Perlman, Barry Goldman, and Eric Simonoff for their win over Haddon Township yesterday. The next East team competition will be Thursday, February 10th at East. See Ms. Beth for further details. On Friday, the Biology Careers Club will be visiting the Cooper Medical Center. Remember that permission forms are due tomorrow.
The Spanish Club will meet tomorrow at 2:30 for upperclassmen and 4:15 for freshmen. Topics of this meeting are election preview, candy sale, and we will be planning events for February. If interested, plan to attend this meeting. 2:30 for upperclassmen and 4:15 for freshmen in Suite 301. The Latin Club recently elected club officers, and they are State Registrar Mark McGill, Consul is Mike Statler, Pro-Consul is Sidney Day, Scriba is Audrey McGann, K-Store is Tony Nishiocha, Parliamentarian is Santa Glick, and the fundraiser is Anorata Glau. We were expecting the French and Italian students to arrive at East on April 4th. Any student presently in French 2 or above who wishes to participate in the exchange program next November should see Dr. Rollins for information as soon as possible. The group will be limited to approximately 20 students.
Need more practice to familiarize yourself with typical SAT questions? Need to refine your SAT test-taking techniques? Adult school SAT prep classes are now being offered for both English and Math at both East and West. Books are available in the adult school office, $6 each, and should be brought to the first class. There is a limit of 20 students per class, and the cost is $25. The schedules for the classes are as follows. English will be held at East in room C220 and at West in room F31. The Math will be held at East in room C203 and at West in room D11. All classes are held from 3 to 5:30 p.m., except for the East Math class, which goes from 7 to 9:30. All instructors are personnel of Cherry Hill Public Schools. For more information, go to the adult school office found in the main office in A Wing.
Now we go to Marlise Ellis, who is on location with the Martial Arts Club and their advisor, Mr. Chuck Kim.
Hello, I'm Marlise Ellis, and today I'm here with Mr. Chuck Kim, advisor to the Martial Arts Club. Tell me, Mr. Kim, what are the martial arts?
But martial art club is a self-defense technique. However, it is a little bit different from other kind of sports. In that, in martial art, the way of life is important. It's a virtue of a man who knows how to defend himself. We think upholding justice is important. Demonstrating leadership is important. Protecting wit is important. So the way of life is very important in Korean martial art.
Do you teach the students exercises in karate?
I myself don't teach too much. There are 3 black belt members in our club. So they teach basically Korean martial arts. However, there are many different kinds of martial arts. It's basically Taekwondo and Tangsudo style.
Is any type of meditation used when the students to relax their body?
Not in our club, but in Taekwondo and Tangsudo, meditation is an important part of the exercise.
Is there competitions between the students at East and the students in other schools?
No, it is involving too much risk, and we don't want to do that. Unless they are advanced, very much advanced in martial arts, we cannot let them beat up somebody.
Do students in your club need any previous training?
No, not at all. About half of the members had training previously, but the other half did not have any training. They just come in, learn some basic technique, and promote actually their physical fitness more than the spiritual aspect of the martial arts. But in order to really learn martial arts, I think they should go to real professional institutes rather than clubs.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. This has been Marlise Ellis with the Martial Arts Club for East Update.
A reminder that the Cum Laude Society, East Honor Society, will provide tutoring services for all East students as of November 22nd. Students are to complete request forms on the back of the door to A008. The officers, President Todd Fisher, Vice President Mike Carusi, Secretary Amy Kanzler, and Treasurer Dan Price will contact the tutors, who will in turn contact the students to make arrangements for tutoring schedules. Contact the officers of the Society's advisor, Miss Peggy Beck, if you have any other questions. On Wednesday, February 9th, the Home and School Association will sponsor a workshop on stress management conducted by Dr. Israel Posner. The seminar will be held in the library from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. In case there is a school closing due to inclement weather, the meeting will be postponed until February 16th. Now back to John.
East's next stage production, The Pirates of Penzance, has announced the students who will play the show's major roles. The play will be performed the weekends of March 12th and March 19th, and it is double cast. The white cast features Pat McLaughlin as Fred, Sue Kravitz as Mabel, and Kristen Bush as Ruth. The red cast has Mike Murray playing Fred, Fran Gagliardi as Mabel, and Cheryl Kazenko as Ruth. Marcelo Caramuda plays the Pirate King in both casts, and Alan Schwartz plays the Major General in both casts. The basic plot of the musical is the story of a pirate who goes against his pirate friends because he feels that their plundering is morally wrong. Along the way, he falls in love. So remember, don't forget to see each production of The Pirates of Penzance during the weekends of March 12th and March 19th. Now on to sports. In wrestling, Shawnee beat our 7th-ranked and previously unbeaten Cougars 28-24. East was ahead 24-22 until Shawnee's Scott Taylor pinned East's Bob McCausland in 35 seconds of the first period in the heavyweight bout, the final one of the match. Winning East wrestlers were Brian Stanley at 100 pounds on a decision, and he's now 7-0. Jeff McCall at 107 won on a pin, and Joe Corby at 128, Dan Martis at 147, and Mike Boudreaux at 187 all won on decision. Chris Leo at 169 wrestled to a draw. On Saturday, the wrestlers will travel to Toms River North. The varsity team will wrestle at 2:30, and JV and freshmen will wrestle at 1 o'clock. Vanessa Lightsey spoke with Coach Frank McAleer about the team.
This is Vanessa Lightsey with Mr. Frank McAleer, coach of Cherry Hill East wrestling team. Mr. McAleer, how many years have you been coaching wrestling at East?
Well, this is my second year at East. I was over at Cherry Hill West for 8 years. This is my 13th year as a head coach.
What are the basic physical requirements for wrestling?
Well, you have to be able to endure pain because the training is very hard, and it's a very intense sport, and you have to have a great deal of athletic ability. And I say those requirements, you just have to have the ability to want to work hard, have a lot of perseverance, patience, persistence, and all those adjectives really make up for the kind of person we're looking for in our wrestling team.
Individually, what do you think is the goal of each team member for the whole team?
Well, we have a very team concept, and our whole concept about the way we wrestle is team first over individual. Certainly it takes 12 individuals that make up a team, and everybody has to pull his weight in terms of when it's his job to go out on the mat and wrestle, we expect him to perform at his best capabilities on that particular evening. And certainly there are some individual goals that we set for each of the boys so that they aspire to be the best they can be. But the overall program really encourages that each of the boys work for the team as a whole. They know that they're part of the puzzle. Each link, the puzzle is them, and as they add to the puzzle, they contribute to the total team concept, which is our philosophy here at East.
How does the team look for this year?
Well, last year I lost 9 seniors from my team last year, so I'm in a rebuilding year. But even in a rebuilding year, we have some really outstanding talent this year. The only problem I have right now is we've only wrestled one match before Christmas in a Christmas tournament, and I really don't know how good or bad we are. I know we're going to be a very good team, but of course you like to see the kids wrestle just so we know what mistakes they make and how to correct them. So right now, as we get into the season for January, we have 13 matches this month. So I'm going to get to see a lot about the boys that are on the team this year.
When is the next match, and where will it be played?
Well, our next match will be tonight against Cherokee High School here at home. And then the next Saturday, we travel to Toms River North for an away match. We'll be wrestling 3 matches a week, home and away, for the next 13 or 14 matches for the whole month of January.
Okay, thank you. This was Vanessa Leitcher with Mr. Frank McAleer from Cherry Leaf Wrestling Team.
In boys basketball, East lost a hard-fought game to West Deptford, 51-49, in double overtime. The game went into overtime when Adam Rose hit a free throw in the final seconds of regulation time. Neither team scored in the first overtime, but West Deptford's Kevin Kelly scored all 5 of his team's points, overcoming a field goal by Lee Zransky and a free throw by Nick Katsikas for East. Kelly finished as high scorer in the game with 21, and high scorers for East were Zransky with 17, Ron Cross with 10, and Katsikas and Rose each had 7. Yesterday, the boys' basketball team met with Bishop Eustace at home. Tomorrow, the JV and varsity members will play away against Woodrow Wilson at 3:30. On Saturday, January 15th, the varsity boys' basketball team meets with Haddonfield away at 8 o'clock, while the JV play an away game at 6:30, and the freshmen have a home game at 10 o'clock a.m. In girls basketball, Lenape crushed East 89-31. High scorer for East was Joan Donato with 8. In basketball last Wednesday, the freshman girls team scored a 29-8 victory over Pittman. Colleen Doyle had a season high of 13 points. They beat Lenape 40-37 with Tracy Mass high scorer with 12 points. Colleen Doyle and Sherry Stricker each had 10 points. On Monday, the girls defeated Pennsville 56-28. Tracy Mass led scoring again with 22 points, while Trish Judicious contributed 16. The girls play at 10 a.m. Saturday home. Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., the JV and varsity girls basketball teams play at home against Woodrow Wilson. Saturday, January 15th, the girls have a busy day. First, at 10 a.m., the freshmen play against Highland. Then, at 12 o'clock noon, the varsity play at home against Willingboro, followed by the JV, who also play at home against Willingboro at 1:30 p.m. Now back to John.
Last Wednesday, January 5th, the boys' swim team continued its winning streak by beating previously undefeated Toms River East by a score of 72-50. Freshman Sean Killian broke the 500-yard freestyle record by 6 seconds. His record time was 4 minutes, 46.5 seconds. In addition, Sean won the 200-yard freestyle. Other double winners were John Marion and Dave Carey. The Cougars' record is now 5-0. On January 11th, the boys met Shawnee at CYO Blackwood. And tomorrow, January 13th, the team will return to CYO Blackwood at 3:30 p.m. to compete against John F. Kennedy. and on Saturday they will meet with Holland at Sicklerville at 11 a.m. The girls' team also continued its winning streak by beating Toms River East on Wednesday, January 5th. Winners include Leslie Pike, Kathy Lynch, Laura Lynch, Sandy Brown, Sharon Malloy, Karen Dylan Snyder, and Julie Schroeder. Today, the girls competed against Shawnee at CYO Blackwood at 3:30 p.m. On Saturday, the girls' swim team has an away meet with the Petty School at 2 p.m. Now to Beth.
Also last Wednesday, East bowling team shocked the defending state champion, Lenape. All four Cougar teams took 3-1 victories. The girls were led by Leslie Trachtenberg with a 514 series. Ira Risterman was the boys' leading bowler with a 550 series. Last Thursday, the Cougar bowlers faced Bishop Eustace at Crest Lanes. Yesterday, the bowling teams met with Ossey Vocational Technical School at Crest Lanes. On Friday, January 14th, the bowlers will meet with Burlington Vocational at 38 Ball at 3:30 p.m. The girls' bowling team participated in a tournament in North Jersey on Saturday. Sue Henning led the team with a 233 game, which was high for the tournament.
Finally in sports, congratulations to junior Bill Stewart for his impressive third-place showing in the 2-mile run at the Delaware Valley meet on Saturday. This has been John McGee with That Done Off for this week's Youth Update. Stay tuned next for Brainerd and Heritage News.
Good evening, and welcome to the third segment of Brainerd News. This is Amy Miller, and I'm happy to see that everything around Cherry Hill and Brainerd is finally settling down. The hustle and bustle of last-minute shopping is over, and things are getting back to normal. Now that the holidays are over, our studies and projects are taking up most of our time. This is the main reason why many students learn the library day after day doing research and reading. Most students say that hopefully this period, when teachers assign many reports and papers, will soon be over. Then again, many simply say that it keeps them busy. When most people are experiencing post-holiday blues, here at Brainerd, students survive these blues by becoming active, both physically and mentally. Here's Charlie Miller to tell you about one of these activities that keep us occupied. Tonight, I am interviewing Brainerd's reading teacher, Mr. McDonald. Mr. McDonald is also in charge of another popular activity here at Brainerd, known as College Bowl. Mr. McDonald will be informing you on this activity. Mr. McDonald?
Kelly?
Mr. McDonald, what actually is College Bowl?
Well, College Bowl is a timed game of knowledge. It is modeled after the game that used to be on television where various colleges would send teams to compete against each other. And we use it with the various homerooms.
What type of questions do you ask on the show?
We ask current events, sports, history, geography, that type of question.
All topics?
Yes.
Can anyone be on the show? Do you select them, or how do they get on the show?
They get on the show by volunteering in their homerooms, and it's usually the same students that come each week when we play.
The questions you ask on the show, where do you get the questions and the information?
We subscribe to a publication from Creative Educational Services, which is a newspaper in Santa Barbara, California. And they send us an issue of questions each week, and we get 33 of them during the school year.
Right. Would you compare College Bowl here at Brainerd with the high school's Knowledge and Rutgers Bowls?
Yes, Kelly, they're very similar. Very similar.
Thank you for being on Brainerd News tonight. And the students here at Brainerd hope that College Bowl continues because they all enjoy it.
My pleasure, Kelly.
Now for our sports update on Brainerd's basketball team is Mike Arrington. Tonight, I'm going to bring you up to date on the games played since our last telecast. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the girls' basketball team. The 7th grade Mini Mustangs started off their season by defeating Heritage by the score of 21-16. The high scorers for this game were Sandy Duda and Debbie Mazakis with 6 points each. Stella Mastantonio with 4 points, and Beth Golden and Leslie Phillips with 3 and 2 points respectively. The 8th grade Mustangs did not quite live up to their name, but kept the pressure on Heritage throughout the game, losing by a mere 3-to-1 ratio. Thursday, January 6th, was all Brainerd, with all 4 girls and boys basketball teams winning. The 7th grade girls basketball team defeated Collingswood by the score of 26-11. The high scorer for this game was Leslie Phillips with 6 points. Not far behind with 4 points was Debbie Mazakis, Beth Goldman, Alicia Luciano, and Juan Yu Chan. And with 2 points each were Nicole Banks and Toby Rosen. The 8th grade Mustangs flowed over Collingswood by the score of 22-8. The high scorers for this game were Sharon Slim with 10 points and Nicole Sheps with 8. And now for the boys team. Wednesday, January 5th, 7th grade basketball team was known as here at Brainerd as the Battle of the Brothers, with Mr. Paul Ritchie as Brainerd's 7th grade coach and Mr. Ralph Ritchie as Heritage's 7th grade basketball coach. This hotly contested game went down to the wire, and at the end, Gene Royster came up as the high scorer with 17 points. But even with Brainerd's superb effort, they could not beat a tough Heritage team and lost this game by a mere 1 basket, and the score was 31-29. On Thursday, Brainerd's Mini Mustangs scored a convincing win over Collingswood by the score of 33-12. The high scorer for this game was Harry Thomas with 12 points, Gene Royster with 8, and David Miller with 6 points. The 8th grade Mustangs had just as much luck defeating Collingswood by the score of 35-20. On Monday, January 10th, Brainerd's 7th grade basketball team defeated Hannity Township by the score of 27-19. The high scorers for this game were Gene Royster with 13 and Harry Thomas with 8 points. The varsity boys basketball team also defeated Hannity Township, and the score in this game was 25-20. The high score for this game was Tony Morelli with 10 points. This was followed by Spell with 10 and Dave Yancic with 4 points. And that has been the sports picture here at Brainerd this past week.
That's all we have time for tonight. Last week, we promised you a post-Sugar Bowl interview with Mr. Ken Kelly, captain of the national champion Penn State football team. Join us next week for that interview. This is Amy Miller. Good night, and thank you for watching.
Good evening, and welcome once again to What's News at Heritage. I'm Nina Jaffe, and tonight we'll be leaving our studio to meet the Heritage cheerleaders. Our guests tonight are Mrs. Gregorio, the cheerleader moderator, and Sue Yokas, one of this year's cheerleaders. Mrs. Gregorio, can you tell us when and how the cheerleaders were chosen?
Yes, the cheerleaders are chosen in the spring. They have about a week of practice with the present cheerleaders, and they're chosen for their gymnastic ability, their personality, and their personal appearance.
Thank you. Sue, how did you feel when you first tried out?
Well, I was a bit nervous, but there are a lot of other girls trying out also, so I didn't feel that nervous afterwards.
Mrs. Gregorio, what teams did the cheerleaders cheer for?
They cheer for all the boys' basketball games, and we try to get as many girls' basketball games in as possible.
Thank you. Speaking of cheers, I think it's time to hear from our cheerleaders again.
Sue, why did you want to become a cheerleader?
Well, it's a lot of fun. You have a good time doing it, and just it's fun to represent and cheer for your school.
Mrs. Gregorio, can you tell us some of your other duties at Heritage?
My main job is to be the school nurse. That means taking care of any emergencies that come up and help with counseling of students.
Sue, what's the cheerleading schedule like? How many days a week do you practice?
Well, we practice 3 times a week and after school.
Let's see how that practice has paid off as we hear from our cheerleaders once again. Sue, are you or any of the other girls planning to be cheerleaders in high school?
Well, I guess we're all hoping to make it and try out.
Mrs. Gregorio, one last question before we end our show with the final cheer. Can boys be cheerleaders?
If they can do a split and sing into our uniforms, they're welcome to try out.
Thank you. That's it for tonight's show. Let's thank our guests, Mrs. Gregorio, Sue Yocus, the Heritage cheerleaders, and thanks most of all to you, our viewers, for watching What's News at Heritage. And now we end with one final cheer.